as has Toys and Stanley, whether anyone's going to go across that way. Toys, if anything, might go around the wide side of the race, which is where he's heading right now. He's got to be careful he doesn't walk around that right side. Got to be careful. Najin Sword, luckily, backed away. Are they going to steal away the red? I assume they will do. Nobody's even going looking towards it, and that red is going to be taken away. Taipei Assassins are completely unaware. Now they will spot it. I think we just saw, yeah, Mistake just comes around. He's going to be aware, puts the ward down in there, and he's just going to clear out those small lizards, and that means that's going to be a clean invade for Najin Sword.
Still a clean invade, but I have to say TPA dodged a bit of a bolt there. Don't know exactly what tipped them off. It was an educated guess that they thought they were invading their red because they had two forward wards in Najin Sword's red jungle. And the fact that you would start raids and then not go to red just shows to me you were expecting some kind of a counter gank. They went very luckily just back to the blue, and they saved Lowball's life in a lot of ways.
So, lanes are starting to set themselves up, and it's going to be standard laning out here. So let's check them out straight away. McNoon versus Stanley in that top lane. Jace versus Aurelia.
I have to say, early on, Jace just takes the cake. McNoon needs to get ahead a little bit, and he needs to stack armor early on. Jace trying to harass him with those shock blasts. Also, the E does magic damage, so it is a little bit shaky, but when we've seen success...
Prey's going to get taken down very low immediately down the bottom. Then the exhaust comes out. Kane had to use that exhaust to save his AD carry at level 1.
Very aggressive play by both bottom laners early, and that's the all-in nature of Nunu. But back top, when we've seen success by Relies against Jace, it's because they're getting early Phage, early Ninja Tabby.
Yeah,
so Little Balls with some creative steal there gets the red buff away from Watch. So they stole his red, but he stole theirs. Overall, they're even.
Even Steven, I guess you could say. Let's have a look in that mid lane, though. You can see Song versus Toys. Toys on the Orianna. Definitely going to have a massive range advantage over Song. And how would you rate this one? I mean, actually, you can just look back down towards the bottom. Prey again getting caught out there. VB being very aggressive down that bottom lane. Mistake keeping them back. They're going to put a bit of damage on the backside of Mistake there, but not as much as they wanted, though. Prey getting blocked off by one of the minions there with his Q shot.
So this bottom lane is actually going to be extremely aggressive. You pick Tarek to win the lane, and you pick Nunu for the late game, but he's also good at stopping people from all-inning you. So if BB and Mistake get at all ahead in this lane, they're really just going to take it on top of Ezreal. The Nunu cog is just known for its absurd damage output, and when they pick it, it has to get shut down early. Otherwise, when the later game comes around and they have the Mundo frontline with the Jace Orianna poke, it would be a disaster for Najin Sword. So these laning phase is something they actually have to come out very strong and just jump on top of TPA early.
We are seeing Lil Balls at the top at the moment. You're going very aggressive. Is he going to go for McNoon? Are they going to try and shut him down early? I think they're going to. Yeah, it would be a mistake to. Instead, we are seeing pings down the bottom, and you can see immediately Watch is going to try and sneak and injure his way in, but he's going to walk straight over a ward. That's going to give his position away to Taipei Assassins. They're going to be well aware of that. Instead, we're going to see the mid lane. It looks like Lil Balls is going to come around the backside of Song. Should be able to catch the cleaver. Yes, he does. Taipei Assassins going to try and go for this one. Not going to happen. Instead, they have to flash away. Force the flash, though. It's always a bonus. Down the bottom lane, they are going to dive in towards Mistake. They do get the dazzle down, but they do not have the aggression. And Watch, well, they knew he was there, so it was already pretty much predicted.
He ended up just trading the flash.
Mid lane, Song is going to get caught out. First one's going to come in. It is going to be Toys that picks it up. Lil Balls, though, with the Ignite. He hasn't got the shield on him. Will survive it, though. His innate health will help him out.
So the first successful gank comes down for TPA, and that was the repeat of the first one. You burn the flash with the first, and then you just come right straight around for the second. Song did not expect the back-to-back gank. That is such a common thing. You don't think a jungler is going to stick around, but we've seen a bunch of super long lane camps in this tournament. And up top lane, we have McNoon versus Stanley. I have to say, McNoon has done a tremendous job early at not getting out-harassed by Jace, and aside from this, keeping the tower, the minions near his tower. So
Ignite in onto Stanley. Stanley taken down very low. I think the Ignite should not take him down. He's got that health tick going on there, and that was a very vicious exchange between Taipei Assassin, Stanley, and McNoon. McNoon's going to back off. Stanley is going to stick around, though. So he's just going to make sure he clears off that wave and then backs. Let's see what... Actually, McNoon has cancelled his back. He's just wondering, is Stanley going to stick around? In which case, he's definitely going to dive on him.
There's a lot of mind game going on in this lane right now because you just assume when someone shoves your tower like that they are going back. He actually just goes and shows, and he's trying to scare Stanley back a bit here because Stanley's now shoved, so the lane will eventually come to McNoon. He doesn't want to actually back here, so he's just going to try to pick up as many minions as possible. Also, how much gold does he have? 1,100. I'm wondering what breakpoint he's waiting to buy on, because he's definitely farming up for something. No, he's just going to shove it into the tower and go back. That's smart.
Little Ball's getting spotted down that bottom lane as well. Walk straight across the ward. McNoon is going to back. I'm going to put the pressure on the turret. And Prey just putting that mystic shot in Little Ball's face and saying, yeah, we know you're there. Just go away. Leave us to farm in this bottom lane. We are seeing pings on watch. And again, all about the ward coverage at the moment. Taipei Assassins and Najin Sword have really good coverage. They are spotting those junglers early. And they're avoiding the ganks. Just still that one first kill on Song, which is why they want to return the favour on Toys. Toys with a target on his head right now. Not too sure whether we're going to see Song going aggressive. And Watch is going to follow it up. Instead, he's just going to back away to his race. All spooked up by Little Balls, and everyone goes back to farming. Have a look at these lanes, though. This bottom lane, how would you judge it? I mean, normally Cogmore is going to be the passive one that's going to sit and farm for a while, get himself up to 6, and just start poking a little bit. Prey has been forced back quite heavily here, though.
And we're looking at a lot of this. The Nunu Cog we know is only going to get stronger, so the fact that they're winning the early lane against such an aggressive man like Tarek is boding extremely well. And on top of this, Watch spent a substantial amount of time in the bottom lane trying to disrupt. This is TPA's bottom lane. BB and Mistake coming out really, really strong early with that combo.
Yeah, and it's about a 10 CS advantage as well. Across the board, I guess you could say Orianna ahead against Ryze in that mid lane.
Toys is actually invading blue buff by himself a little bit. He's going to try to steal because they have the ward.
He should be able to get in and get the steal. Gets the distance, uses his ulti, manages to get it. No, he just about missed it. Didn't quite pull it. The ultimate went out there. Just his own blue buff. Well, it was a good try, but that means his ulti is down. Let's keep our eye on that one. Top lane, again, Stanley getting poked on by McNoon. It is very even between these two again, but Stanley pushed on towards the turret once again. He's going to try and pick up as much farm as he can. He's got to be careful that McNoon doesn't dive, and I still don't think he's got the hit points to be able to do that. Stanley being very cautious here.
I have to say, of all the lanes for Najin Sword, they're actually losing this game aside from McNoon. That top lane, Aurelia, even though he's only 9 minions ahead, the fact that he's against such a beast like Jace is just showing he's playing extremely well. Everyone else is losing. He really has to carry his team a bit or hope the rest of them can turn it around. Because even yesterday, McNoon is usually on an island. He tends to kind of do things and make plays on his own, and then the other part of the team is their own separate group, and they're just trading damage back and forth. Stanley doing a similar skill order from yesterday that McNoon is doing with more points in E instead of Q, instead of leveling them evenly like McNoon was on Jace.
So we just saw Little Balls. He tried to come up. He did get spotted that ward in the river. However, we do see Watch manages to sneak his way through. You can see McNoon's going to push the wave, see if he can get in there. But as you see, Stanley already gone back. So it's going to be irrelevant. Ward placements coming out in the Dragon. So everybody's starting to cover that one off. 9 minutes gone in this game. Still just that one kill so far. Toys on Song with the help of Little Balls. And that top lane now, McNoon actually putting a fair bit of chunk of damage down there. It's stripping half the health off that turret already. Going to try and push the pressure and maybe open up the game a little bit.
He's going for a very early tower. He does realize his team is behind a little bit. If he wants to kick the other 4 off to do their thing while he stays isolated, getting them that global gold would be his best contribution to the team. Overall, though, we see about a 600 gold lead, but TPA, nice steal on the raids there. Oh, there's the flash ult.
There's the flash ult. Watch is going to try and pull him in towards the tower. The prism, there wasn't quite enough, and that's going to be Toys using his ulti. Here comes Little Balls on towards Watch. He's just covering off, really, and Toys is going to back away from that one. He's got McNoon coming down the river, immediately reacting to that one, as well as being followed down the bottom lane there. You can see Mistakes in a pop absolute zero. Can they take Kane down? Bibby is going to be all over him. He should be able to finish him off. The ultimate coming across. Prey's going to take on towards Bibby. Now he can try and take down Mistake as well. Mistake's got to be careful. He doesn't get caught out by this one. Little Balls had travelled down to that bottom lane along with Toys, but it wasn't to be, and that was an even exchange in that bottom lane. Well, say even. It's an AD carry for a support. That is not even.
That does come out.
Top lane, no, McNoon's also getting dived on.
So much aggression.
Is all over him. He's just going to force him backwards. So let's have a look back at that bottom lane. I mean, how do you rate that one? Obviously, Bibby going down is a big thing.
I think that's an unfortunate pickup of kills, and there's 3 members coming up top. He's going to see Ryze in a ward. He does have his flash up. I think he can escape this one. Yeah,
he manages to flash through. He gets stunned up. Can Song get in there? Song hasn't got a flash available, I don't think. He manages to knock Watch back. There's the flash. Oh. There's the kill by Song. Just zips in time and gets the rune prison and the last blast. Very nicely played.
McNoon enabling that. His health was lower, so his equilibrium strike got the stun, and that allowed everyone else to catch up. Stanley not quite able. And with that, even though it was just an assist, it's a lot of experience that Stanley's going to lose, and it's allowing McNoon to pull ahead in that lane. Whether he can punish him now with that slight edge, since they are such great teams, it's like such great matchup up top, That's going to be big for Najin Sword coming back in this game. Gold dead even now.
So after 10 minutes, things start to liven up here. 2-2. Say gold very much even. That top turret has been pushed to within about 112 hit points, so that's going to go down on the next major push from McNoon. And BB returning to the lane. He's gone for that Vampiric Scepter, and he's going to go towards the Zeal down that bottom lane, actually putting the aggression down on Prey. And Prey just forced back there. Just a little bit. This bottom lane is definitely an intriguing one. 84 CS to 83. That has turned things around. The fact that BB got taken down, they had about 10 to 15 CS advantage in that bottom lane. Prey's definitely dragged it back just off the back of that one kill.
Only 100 gold difference between BB and Prey, though. And if you do think about the late game, it is that Kog'Maw. What is Najin Sword going to do to be able to assassinate him? It's going to be about McNoon trying to jump on Kog'Maw, and it's very difficult. Aurelia is a bit about attack speed, and if Mistake is there with the Nunu, the Ice Blast slows attack speed. It's going to be difficult just in general for them to get things. Wow. BB doing a great job farming that lane with Mistake.
That is a pretty quick Athene's Unholy Grail, if I'm not mistaken. That's been picked up in that middle. Toys picking that up straight away. McNoon getting no poke on him there. Has gone straight for that rather than any of the boots. The level 1 boots, so gone immediate Athene's Unholy Grail on Toys has.
He really loves getting that on him very early, and that shows he's not necessarily looking to kill because he's not worried about the magic penetration of the Sorcerer's Shoes. He has about 500 more gold than his adversary mid lane, Rise on Song. He's stolen Song's Wraiths actually multiple times, so Toys, as well as the bottom lane, doing a really good job just outlaning Najin Sword. Najin Sword has to take something together with coordination, aggression, team fights, and dives.
Yeah, interesting enough, McNoon being given the golems there by Watch. He's helping out. Watch just hanging around in that bush with that Oracle on. Just hoping that Stanley's going to poke himself a little bit forward. Instead, he's just going to quite happily sit back. He's not falling for these tricks. He's well aware he's got no vision of the top or bottom area of that lane.
And look at this. Stanley actually went triple Doran's Blade, so he knew he was a little bit behind McNoon in farm, and McNoon has his Fade instead of that third Doran's, but he just went that because he does not want to give McNoon an edge that he can capitalize off of. He wants to stay even with him, so he went with the early efficient items just so he doesn't get snowballed on by McNoon.
Okay, so the blue steel is definitely going to be a thought to be wrestling with. You can see for Little Balls and Toys, they've moved away and they've put the ward down, but Watch is taking down that ward that they've just put in there. Now they have it covered off, and the rest of the team are collapsing in around this one. This could be a 4v4 here, right here. Toys in there with his attack dissonance. Little Balls coming in. They're going to try and get the steal. The Smite steal is almost certainly going to have to be used. Instead, they're going to stun on towards Little Balls. There, the Orianna ultimate. There's going to be the absolute zero following up. Little Balls is taken down by Song. Song's going to get dropped immediately on the back of that one. They're going to turn their attention to Kane. Kane should go down on the back of this one. Yes, he will. It was a double kill for Toys, as expected. Meanwhile, the top turret did go down in amongst all that. And you can see McNoon has taken the first one, but Dragon could be picked up off the back of this one. So very much even exchange. Even gold right now, but this Dragon will turn things in favor of Taipei Assassins.
And that was a very sneakily executed fight by Taipei Assassins. They tricked Najin Sword into thinking they caught Lil Balls out of position and Toys beyond the fight, but he could reach over and got that perfect Orianna off onto the entire Najin Sword team. That's what really turned it. He then flashed over, they all followed up, and that 2-for-1 with the blue steel is pretty big.
Pretty big indeed, and it was Bebe that helped out there. He picked up 3 assists, and it's 3-0 for Toys now. Obviously, like I mentioned, he picked up that Athene. Now he got the Sorcerer's Shoes along the top of that one, as well as a blasting one. And now McNoon in towards the middle. It's actually McNoon versus BB in the mid lane at the moment, because that top lane turret has gone down. In terms of turrets, really, the top was completely untouched by Stanley. Mid lane, about half for Toys at the moment. Toys definitely been the aggressor in this mid lane. 140 CS to 107, so that's a pretty big difference already in terms of damage-wise there. GF Sword being picked up by Ezreal. Meanwhile, obviously the Zeal, there's the ultimate on Song in the mid lane. The Song's going to get caught out here. Has not quite got the Ignite down bound, but the attack will come in, and that is now a 4-0 Toys, and Toys is very, very strong, and proving why Orianna's been banned quite a few times in this tournament.
Look at that, 4-0 just soloing Song. Even though Lil Balls would have been there to support, he is really scary and is going to be a huge problem for Najin as this comes up. He got the first gank onto Rise, and it's been able to snowball off that. After that, he's taken many raids. They've tried to turn ganks around on him, but he's been able to escape here.
Prey's getting dived on really bottom lane. Bit of damage done from Bibi there. BB, I should say. He's getting a poke on. He has got that blue buff, of course, off the back of that fight earlier on. In fact, he's poke in. He is double buffed up at the moment. Actually, to tell a lie, that's the Blood Boil from Mistake, which is going to be a huge, huge advantage. This is why that lane was always so strong. The Blood Boil from Nunu.
So Lowball's actually just got seen by a ward. He thinks he walked into this brush undetected, so Najin Sword has an advantage here. They're going to be able to pull in 4 people. If a fight does come, they'll be able to turn it with
yeah,
Ryan
there's
when he
4.
gets
You
here.
can see Song's heading his way down that river immediately. They're going to try and catch on towards Watch there. Watch is going to pull Little Balls in towards the bush. Not the ideal person. The Absolute Zero is going to go off. Can they manage to escape the damage here? Song's going to join in. Mistake might get caught out. Last person they wanted though, and I think they've avoided all the damage. Now you can see Oriana's coming down. They've got to be careful. Toys could put a lot of damage down. Stanley's going to join the fight as well. They're going to catch on towards Song. Stanley's just going to back off from this one. A wise call from Taipei Assassins to avoid the damage there. McNoon was coming in the backside.
All 10 members were about to converge there, and it's crazy that there was such a huge fight, but no one died. Everyone traded damage very well and was able to disengage after they'd taken nearly all their life. Close counter gank. Overall, the 2 turrets down overall in the game. Mid lane for Najin Sword, top lane for Taipei Assassins, and the 1 Dragon really providing a lot of the advantage for Taipei thus far. I have to say McNoon has the upper hand on Stanley thus far, but the rest of TPA has the upper hand on Najin Sword.
You say that, but McNoon has been left. He's trying to roam as much as he can, but Stanley was farming out free on that bottom lane, sticking around. Actually, Stanley's going to go up the top. He's going to have to react to McNoon. McNoon is going to go back to farm, but Toys has such a huge advantage right now in that mid lane. Song has picked up 2 kills, but yet to complete an item. Obviously went for the Catalyst and Tear of the Goddess early on, but Toys with that Themes sat on, what, 1,300 gold right now, 1,400 gold. So he's looking towards buying another major item.
Just saving up for that needlessly large rod. Most likely going for Death Cap later. He's looking for just the huge nukes. So many people on that team, especially Lil Balls, or even Jace will be diving into that fight, and his ultimates so far have been very clutch. All the Orianas we've seen successfully have just been destroying with an ultimate. Everyone, it seems, who's really good at Oriana draws bans, and it looks like they actually didn't realize Toys was one of those players, which is why he's been allowed at this game.
Yeah, you'll probably see that one banned out in the next match. We are seeing a gathering from Najin Sword here around the Dragon area. We have 18 minutes gone. Just taking a peek down this bottom lane. Vivi has already picked up his Phantom Dance, so we've got a Bloodthirst to come out on Ezreal. And it's an interesting way. We saw Prey building a Bloodthirst yesterday. Trinity Force is often picked up. I mean, what do you think the reasoning behind the choices between these two?
Normally, Trinity Force is the item of choice for Ezreal, but with a Bloodthirster, it's because you're looking to just over-sustain in lane, especially when Kog'Maw had that blue buff. The range poke was so threatening that if he was low, he would have gotten all in by Nunu fairly frequently. And if he wants to get aggressive with Taric, he needs to be at full health before those exchanges. The Bloodthirster is a lane sustained choice. He's still going to probably go for Trinity Force later, but he's not looking to snowball the mid game super hard. He's looking to just farm out on the lane.
So Taipei Assassins again go for that blue buff. They're putting the pressure on. They put the ward in there this time. Little Balls is trying to try and clear out any ward. Spots the ward just off the back of that one, but immediately they're going to put the damage down, and that was a very quick blue buff to steal there from Taipei Assassins. They are fully grouped up. Dragon spawned on the back of that one, so it's going to be another minute away yet. Vivi is going to continue pushing. I think Taipei might even put the pressure on, try and pick up their first turret of the game down the bottom here. Second turret of the game, sorry. They've already taken the mid lane one. Ezreal Ultimate's going to try and keep them back. They've got to be careful. You can see Watch is just lingering in that tri-bush, as well as Song. The ping's going across the board, and they're actually saying, no, we're going to back off, return to lanes, guys.
Just got to say, that was a crazy amount of coordination by TPA. The fact that they took that down so fast and still got the blue buff onto the right target was really impressive. They got it onto Kog'Maw since they already had a blue buff onto Toys. And I'm a little bit surprised that Stanley's going top lane here, just because with that Dragon coming up soon, they're going to look to control it. Even though when McNoon matched with Aurelia, they could have a 4v4. If they want to just go all in with this, they should be able to. Another thing here, low balls with the double Doran shield on Dr. Mundo. That's something we saw Hotshot do earlier in the tournament as well. That's a really good choice, not only for the health, but for the health regen, because Mundo spends so much natural health in the jungle.
Oh, the bottom lane, they're waiting it out on Prey there. They're going to try and get the gank here, but they didn't realize that Watch was waiting in there as well. Couldn't get the hook, flashed in, didn't get the ultimate off, and Mistake popping the Absolute Zero just briefly in there, forced them away. That was a cheeky little gank from Prey there.
Here they have all 5 down towards Dragon. Aurelia and McNoon is coming down. The majority of ultimates are down, though. They use Flash Cleanse on BB, and the Nunu ult is down. So if a big fight goes off, they'll have to zone with Oriana Ball, not Nunu ult.
The Absolute Zero was used. Watch does have his ulti available if he wants to try and get in a hook on someone. They tried to steal it off, but it's not going to happen. Oriana Ball comes back in. Dissonance manages to finish it off. Taipei Assassins pick up the second Dragon of the game, extending their gold lead. It is the 4,000 gold now. We saw Taipei Assassins yesterday the predictions came out. I was asking some of the players, everybody said Najin Sword. They said Taipei Assassins, yes, they're very good, but Najin Sword definitely will take it. The question is, at the moment, are Najin Sword going to feel that pressure of falling behind, because they are really looking like they're sliding out of this game from the 2 lanes they're losing.
How secretive has TPA kept their practice and rehearsal? Maybe all those custom games made people underestimate them if they have been beating teams in scrims, or if they've been having secret scrim opponents, because they're coming out looking stronger than the fans thought they would, and also Najin Sword did. And even in that interview previously, they actually said they wanted Najin Sword to be drawn against them, so they see something in this matchup they think they can take advantage of, and thus far they're showing it off.
Absolutely. Rabadon's death cap being picked up there by Toys. Toys now incredibly strong. Been landing that ball very well. 382 ability power. Little Balls is just going to cause himself more and more problems. Just going to get in there, cause any trouble he can. And it's looking like they're going to try and head south. This bottom turret is very low. The pings have gone down. They realize they're going down now. I think Prey and Kate are going to have to give this one up. Bibi is going to continue pressuring on that bottom lane. They have got Stanley joining them. There goes the bottom turret. Can they follow it through? We are seeing Najin Sword backing away from this one. They're not going to 5-man stack and push it. Instead, Toys is just going to return back to mid lane.
So Toys is 2,500 gold above of his lane opponent's Song. Most of that gold advantage, you add that in, there's only 2,000 gold through the rest of the team that are ahead, so over half of their advantage are just channeled onto one champion, and that is Toys' Orianna. Really, Rise is in a lot of trouble. The tower's down, the bottom tower's down. They're probably going to look to go top. Now's the time where they want to group around. They want to start pushing this advantage because they do have a pretty big one right now. On top of this, though, it's really going to be on Najin Sword catch them off guard, because that Nunu Cog, even the Orianna Mundo, just so many good late-game zoning choices. Najin really has to turn it up here if they want to turn something around, because this is looking really grim.
Yeah, Taipei Assassins starting to group up, and of course they're just going to throw that ball on towards Little Balls. He's just going to stall on in there with the ultimate running. Just say, attack me or die. As it is at the moment, Najin Sword are definitely in trouble. Ezreal's been left to farm down that bottom lane. Prey's trying to catch up, trying to do anything they can, but unfortunately for him, Cogmore is matching him pace for pace, and as you said, will just get stronger as the game goes on. Stanley continuing to slowly but surely catch back up. He's now at the stage where, honestly, the Trinity Force that is on Macnu. Macnu's not quite able to stretch his legs like we've seen against previous opponents. You know, he could just go around, really bully them. Hasn't been able to do it in this game because Stanley's kept him fairly honest in that top lane, despite the fact Stanley kind of lost out the lane. Macnu really hasn't been able to leave it. Looking like Norballs is going to try. Collapse on Macnu. Macnu realizing that and has to back away. The rest of Najin Sword now going to try and collapse in on this middle lane. They're going to come around from the Wolves though, but Taipei Assassin's very much ready for this one. And you can see just off the side there, Little Balls is very much ready. He's going to go straight in, puts the cleaver across. There's the ultimate. Whoa. Straight across, ripping and pull in there. Little Balls actually getting caught, taking a lot of the damage. Macnoon is going to get dropped by Stanley straight away on the backside. They're going to dive in. That's going to be another kill on Phoebe, taking him straight down. Mistake gets watched as well, and they had to flash away from this one. This should surely be a turret on the back of this one. But well, Taipei Assassins were very much ready for that. They're going to go for Baron. They're going for Baron.
And that fight was really just everyone keying on Macnoon except for Toys. Toys just handled 3 members of Najin Sword with 1 Orianna ult and allowed them to split that team fight up and just take it one at a time. This is going to be an uncontested Baron and a stranglehold on the game for Taipei Assassins once they get this down.
Taipei Assassins opening up the account here. Their very first match of Season 2 Regionals. We saw Moscow 5 put an impressive performance already against Invictus Gaming. Taipei Assassins proving why they also belong as one of those Tier 1 seeds into this tournament. You know, there was a lot of talk about the fact that Azubu Frost did get made into those group stages, but they went 3-0 in that group. They tried to prove it, and Taipei Assassins maybe feeling a little bit of pressure off the back of that and say, no, we deserve a place here. We're going to have a quick replay, and we're going to get the player audio and just see how that went from Taipei Assassin's point of view. Yeah, that's how I'd be cheering. I've got to be honest. If I'd have just pulled that off, I'd be like, yes!
If you just destroyed Macnoon and Najin Sword in a team fight, which you knew you were going to be taking Baron off of. And this is getting even more scary for Najin. Kog'Maw does not even have his Infinity Edge yet, and that's when his damage is really going to just multiply. You get the Infinity Edge of Phantom Dancer. It's pretty much double your damage as soon as you complete that item on top of the Nunu. And now that they have the Jace poke from
Are they going to
Stanley,
fight
there's the Oriana!
Ultimate pops across. Toys drops Prey down before he had chance to react to that one. He gets a second. Song's going to get dropped as well. That's going to be Combo picking it up, but Watch is going to get stripped down. A double kill, and that's going to be the dunk at the end with a triple kill for Bebe. An unbelievable play. They just managed to catch the Oriana ultimate again and again. Toys is just shredding them apart. That's going to be the turret. They could easily take the inhibitor off the back of this one. Honestly, GG's given. That is going to be Taipei Assassins taking game 1 against Najin Sword. Nobody gave them credit for it, but they have proved they deserve to be here right now.
And we talked so much about yesterday, Najin Sword, their coordination, their quickness in team fights, how they would get into fights before the other team was ready for them to start. That's what Taipei Assassins just did to them. They were even faster. Their initiation was instantaneous, and they finished it in style.
Absolutely fantastic play. Toys went 6-0-5 there, and undoubtedly his ultimates caused every bit of problem for Najin Sword.
Toys absolute MVP, but honestly, the mark of a good top laner sometimes is when you fall back in lane, not letting it turn into a disaster. He did not require help against McNoon. They could focus on winning the rest of the map, and boy, did they ever.
Did they ever. Taipei Assassins now 1-0 up. Najin Sword, well, we're used to seeing them as the aggressors, but honestly, Taipei Assassins turned it on to them. McNoon kept quiet in that game by Stanley.
He did a great job winning the lane, but it was really just Taipei Assassins across the board did amazingly well. The Nunu Cog late game team comp really just came, and the fact that they were ahead before that last team fight with the late game team comp just snowballed it over.
So I believe we're going to have a replay of that last fight, and honestly, it was a pretty crazy exchange straight away on the tower. No
it's
problem.
Really just they poked with the nut with the Jace, and then the Oriana ult just cleaned up. And look, the 2 members were dead before then. The tower doesn't matter to them at this point because it's not going to do enough damage to kill the Baron buff team. And the 3 members remaining of Najin Sword after the initial initiation just got rolled over. The Jace gate comboed with Mundo's ultimate and all the change slows they could get, the blood boil, everything about that team comp was about cleaning up after the start of the fight. Najin Sword had no way of running away.
Just a 26-minute game, a very quick one there. You know, Infinity Edge didn't even get a chance to get completed by BB there, but once they just had that such control, he was just like, well, I'm going to land my ulti on your head and just shred your health down. And with the rest of the team just really poking in there. You know, Mundo was absorbing the tower hits, a 6-0-5 Toys, a 4-1-6 BB, a 2-0-8 Mistake. You know, could you hope for more? Well, maybe you wouldn't want your support taking 2 kills.
No, you really wouldn't. And we say it's a 26-minute game is very fast, which it is in the context of this tournament. But the average game time for TPA in that Arena Pro League and the regionals was 30 minutes, which is substantially faster than most games.
This was standard for them.
They know how to close out games, right? They've practiced against it. Sure, it was against inferior competition in the GPL compared to what we have in the World Championships. But the style and the way they execute, it's almost like early on when we saw Moscow 5 and Kiev, they played so many ranked 5s games, so they were just so good at just closing out games, executing strategies, and just finishing it. Once they got that lead, they forgot they were playing against one of the best Korean teams in the world, and they just closed them out like they were any other team.